Hello, team. I'm Eric Hale, Director of Sales Enablement here at Creatio. My role is to align our strategic sales, marketing, and operations teams here at Creatio. I've been with the organization 4 years. Today, I'll be speaking with Volition Capital. Volition Capital is a growth equity firm that focuses on investing in businesses that are in high growth in owner-led organizations across the US and Canada. And today I am joined by Tomy Han, one of the principals at Volition. Tomy, thank you very much for joining.
No, thanks for having me, Eric.
All right, perfect. Maybe a great place to start would be to kind of, in your own words, describe Volition Capital and your role there, and what your organization is all about.
Yeah, totally. Volition Capital, just to give you some background, we're a Boston-based growth equity firm. There's about 30 of us, all based out of Boston. And our, mission and goal is to, as you alluded, Eric, to partner with founder-owned, high-potential software and technology and internet businesses with the goal of helping them grow to that and scale to that next level. Just some quick stats on the fund itself. We're, have a little over $1 billion under management. And, for us, our day-to-day, maybe as it relates to Creatio, we stay in touch with a lot of founders and companies, as you can imagine. We have a database of over 1,000 businesses and founders. And, because these are very relationship-driven, transactions, we spend a lot of time reaching out to folks, meeting with them, having calls. So that continuity in the relationship is important, where I think Creatio really comes in. And second of all, it's really the outreach and keeping folks updated, whether that be newsletters or updates on Volition's new investments or exits. And we leverage Creatio for both sides of the equation on a day-to-day basis.
Got it. Got it. Thank you for that overview. And I love, and I always, remember you guys coming into the office, and I love this saying, that you guys have: work hard, laugh often, make an impact. So words to live by, and it makes us.
We try every day.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, that's something that we embrace here. And I think what makes us such a good partnership. So Tomy, I know that, internally, you've actually just recently launched, the Creatio platform. And within your experience, or in our experience as well, anytime we introduce any sort of new technology, we see that, it can be challenging for end users to embrace that new technology. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience thus far with the Creatio platform and how your end users are adapting to it?
Yeah, totally. So I think you hit an important point. No matter how good a technology solution is, it's all about that adoption. And we're all animals of habit. So whenever you want to pull out an existing system, there's a lot of pushback, especially from the business users that may have their day-to-day already figured out. For us, we've been a Salesforce.com user for about 10 years before adopting Creatio. And I would say the migration to Creatio has been very smooth because of a number of aspects, which I'll touch upon that the team really helped us out with. I would say the first part is, Creatio as a solution is very flexible. So we started off by saying, how are we using Salesforce today, and what do we want to carry over? And we really used that blueprint to start off the Creatio migration. But thankfully, due to the flexibility of the platform, we could mimic a lot of the existing functionalities there. From there, I think it took a little bit of a think outside the box exercise. Our experience with Salesforce has been a little bit constrained, given the lack of technical knowledge that our business users have, and we don't have an internal IT leader that could really help us with those customizations. So we said, hey, within this platform that we've migrated, what can we do, or what was our wish list if we were able to do anything? So for that process, we got our most experienced analysts and associates. So we got 2 of them that are really the power users, the more efficient users, the more experienced users, and really help them, replicate their daily workflows that maybe was inside of their brain, but not necessarily in their, CRM environment. Just again, given the constraints on the flexibility side of things. So That's how we went about it. I think one thing that was important for us is not having too many cooks in the kitchen, and also making sure that there is a bridge between that business user knowledge and the day-to-day of the technical knowledge, which the creation team was phenomenal in the support and educating us on what is possible, and also helping us execute in the different workflow items that we wanted to create.
Excellent. Yeah. And that's great advice for the audience, right? Like, so anybody that is looking to make a shift, right? Being able to plan that out ahead of time and have an end goal in mind is key to any technology deployment in my mind. So, you had mentioned your former CRM. I'm not mentioning any names since we are on a Creatio event here, but your former CRM, you had mentioned that, it was, maybe a little cumbersome to manage. And I know that, during our initial conversations, you had mentioned that you had many consultants come in and try to reformulate and reconstruct and adapt that platform, to your specific business needs. Maybe you could let the audience know, what that experience was like. Did that get more complex for you? And really how, you decided to make that move to Creatio to kind of bridge that gap between, the business and technology.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I would say, maybe even taking a step back, we've always struggled, and I assume it's a common problem for a lot of businesses where business users that have a lot of inherent knowledge that's maybe more habit, or it's really inside their brain programmed. And whenever we try to transfer that knowledge to a technical person to replicate and optimize those workflows, it breaks down often. There's too many nuances. You have project sessions where you think you've communicated what you wanted, but the end result from an IT perspective just doesn't align with that, and it just takes too much time and process. Not to mention that we want to continuously optimize whatever we're doing. So we need to have a way to continually be able to make tweaks and optimize so that we get optimal results. And that process itself never ends. So a consultant that we've hired, and we've gone through multiple consultants, I think the biggest challenge is just bridging that knowledge. First of all, we are not big enough to have an internal IT person to lead that process. So oftentimes we're bringing that consultant up to speed on both our business, our workflows. And, every time somebody comes in, there's a different set of workflows, different code underneath the hood. So a lot of the times we spend time either cleaning up what's been done by the other consultant to achieve our new goals, or just really educating them on what's happened the last 5 years to 10 years instead of in terms of processes. So back to your question, Eric, how is that really stacked up over the years? A lot of disparate systems inside of our own CRM, which is interesting because it's one system of its own, and a lot of workflows and dashboards that don't really tie between each other because we're using a combination of different metrics and dashboards to get to different outcomes. So a little bit of duct taping here and there versus really having that true platform where everything's integrated and flowing between each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a common challenge, as we're talking to customers, right? How do we take all of that disparate data, all of that, because it's never a data problem, right, Tommy? It's how do you take that data, combine it, and make it actionable?
Yeah, the data is always there. It's about having one source of truth and having that integrity and fidelity across the data. And I would say, just layering on to that, as an organization, we like to give our business users a lot of flexibility in terms of how they approach their day-to-day. We're in the big mindset of hire smart people and let them just figure out. And I think that's the beauty of building out a team. And, while it's important to have a foundation of a CRM and a marketing system, which we're using Creatio for, I think we don't want to limit that individual aspect of how people do work. And hence, it's not something we can customize from top down. And hence, the other solution was really, can we give access to our analysts and associates to somebody that can help them manage the technicalities and the tweaks attached to it? And reality is that is not possible. From a physical perspective, it's just too much time commitment for each analyst to be able to do so. And from a cost perspective, if we went down that route, we would need a lot of consultant hours we're paying for separately to have the little nuances by analyst. And I think this adopting Creatio has really given us the opportunity to say, hey, business user, there's a foundation here that we all share, but go do whatever you want to do to fit your individual needs and don't tailor to the organization's needs. And let's see what the results come about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that that's also necessary in the planning phase, right? You have to align, that strategy with those users and collaborate, right? And bring them into the process. We always like to say that at Creatio, we're putting the technology in the hands of the business users, get them involved and collaborate. And that's where we really start to see success.
Totally.
Yeah. Tomy, as you're very familiar with Creatio, and you know that we place a lot of emphasis on no-code technology. We know that no-code technology it's not new. It's been around a while, but it was kind of brought into the spotlight in 2020, 2021, due to the pandemic. A lot of organizations realized that they needed to, shift gears pretty quickly, be able to pivot to different business models. Low code really became part of a lot of organizations' strategies. In your view, how do you see, no code, benefiting organizations, across the board, whether that's top line, bottom line? How do you see no code being able to help companies achieve their goals, whether that's an investment organization like yours or beyond?
Yeah, I think there's a couple topics in that question, but probably the simplest answer is it helps both top line and bottom line. The go-to is probably on the bottom line perspective. You don't have as much IT costs that you need to incur to undergo certain transformations. So that's the end result, in a way, if you go down an income statement. I would say more from a more strategic perspective, as you mentioned, every organization has known for decades there's a lot of small processes that you could automate and save a lot of time. Sometimes we just need that catalyst to make it happen. And I think, the pandemic, it was, one of those catalysts, and obviously unfortunate circumstances. And I think, when we think about IT procurement and especially software procurement, there's a lot of different solutions out there that help solve different pain points. However, there can't be a solution for every pain point an organization has. So you can only adopt so much technology until you have too many solutions, and yet you still have gaps in terms of the things you need to automate. Because oftentimes it's very unique to organizations. Every organization, even within the same vertical, has its own little nuances that there isn't a vendor dedicated to solving every nuance that every company has. And Creatio, especially with the local no-code platform, I think helps us take, in a way, and I'm not suggesting this is the case, but a custom development-like approach where you can really customize it, but you're not taking the overhang of the high cost, the time commitment, the expertise necessary from a technical perspective, and the maintenance costs in the long run. Because we see a lot of custom projects. It works for 2 years, for 3 years, year 5. Whoever created it is probably no longer around, and then we go back to the land of, okay, how do we fix this, or do we create something new? In terms of automating the processes themselves, low code is very important. It just empowers business users to create whatever those solutions they need, which not only helps save money by not purchasing more software on top of software, but it simplifies the stack, and it goes back to what we mentioned: data integrity and having a singular platform where we can have a bird's eye view of everything that's happening within our sales and marketing organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are great points, and when we look at the ability to compose applications, right? We think that is the way to the future. That's really what we're hoping to accomplish with the Creatio platform, right? Is you have these out of the box capabilities, but you can compose them very easily to meet your specific business requirements, and then also modify them as those business requirements change. So it was great to kind of hear you say that. You had mentioned the ability to kind of automate processes. Can you tell the audience a little bit about maybe some of the processes you were able to create and automate within Volition?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, keep building relationships and maintaining them throughout our organization are very important. Mm-hmm. We always say an investment it's only as good as its momentum, and it's only as good as the relationships that come with the momentum. And hence, just because I met a company a year ago or a CEO a year ago, doesn't mean they're going to return my call or they remember me a year or two later. So every individual has a cadence that fits their personality on how they want to help manage that relationship. I know some folks, like doing periodic email check-ins and have a conversation via email every month, for example. I know some folks like hopping on a plane every quarter and going out and meet in person, and everything in between, Zoom calls, phone calls. And that is the individual workflow aspect that, we wanted to really have hard-coded, and hard-coded meaning, without the negativity of it being, not flexible, but we really wanted that on a system, on a workflow basis. And every analyst and associate now has their personal playbook really built out. So, between the thousands of, folks that they stay in touch with, they get their reminder, hey, it's time to do this. And if they haven't gotten some type of response that they expect, it automatically triggers either a follow-up email or, a reminder to do XYZ. And then there's a case buildup for every, account that really goes from start to finish. And once you finish that, after a certain time period, it really comes back up. So we never lose track nor lose the relationship itself. So it's not one process that we've really automated. It's a lot of processes that sit within each employee that they've automated themselves. So as a collection of items, it's a long case management, workflow, call it, but there's a lot of nuances, individuality that's built in.
Excellent, excellent. What a tremendous use of the platform. So when we look at it from personalization to each individual end user, that's really where you're going to start to see the magic of the platform. And along those lines, I know that you guys are probably tracking the success of the platform. Have you been able to achieve any outcomes yet? Have you noticed any observations post implementation now that the system is live?
Yeah, unfortunately, we are not an organization that's yet mature enough to have a quantitative ROI, but I think we live through this every day. And from a qualitative perspective, the answer is absolutely yes. I think, maybe starting with the simplest things, the amount of clicks we're making compared to our old system, it's remarkable. Because our workflows are built in, you trigger one thing and it automatically scales and escalates and it gets recorded in our CRM, which is very important. Second, it's really the interoperability between the systems. We had a separate CRM, we had a separate marketing email system, and we had a separate email newsletter system. So it's really those three systems that we've managed to patch together in the past, and now there is that visibility of, hey, if XYZ events have happened on our CRM, we want ABC things to be triggered in the different systems. And because it's unified, it's getting that bird's eye view of what's going on, but it's also you have that confidence that if you trigger something on your CRM, it will definitely happen in the other modules, and it'll come back to the CRM. So we have a source of truth versus trying to guess between the different data silos.
Amazing, amazing. Tomy, thank you very much for this tremendous insight. I know that the audience, definitely has to appreciate, what you've been able to accomplish with the platform. Man, I wish I could have you on more and more events like this, or talking to my customers, because it really helps to evangelize the platform. So I just wanted to say thank you for joining us today. It's always a pleasure. We definitely appreciate the partnership with Volition.
Thank you so much, Eric. Happy to do it.
All right. Thanks, Tomy.
Bye-bye.